Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Who and How Club. It is your boy Arys WTF checking in once again. I'm happy to be here, and I hope you're happy as well. I pray that you're also staying safe in this crazy world that we're living in right now. I know that a lot of us would like to get back to some sort of norm or normalcy. I'm doing air quotes with my fingers, of course. But we also have to understand that right now we're in a new norm. We're in an adjustment period, Things will never go back to the way that they were. And that's just something that we all might have to accept. A lot of us are trying to grasp and hold on to the past. Yesterday was the past. An hour ago was the past. And a lot of things might have happened in your life just an hour ago. But that moment has come and gone. And you're now in the present and you're moving forward. And whether there are things going on that you disagree with, you feel like there are things that are being mishandled. Maybe you're being treated a certain way that you don't like. You're going to have to roll with the punches. And there are things that you're going to have to adapt and adjust to, which kind of fits with today's episode and the theme surrounding this new series that I'm introducing to all of you. So you know the slogan, you are the Who and How Club, I am the Who and How Club, and we are the who's and how's of this world. Without you, without me, there is no we. And this is a place where we are able to share pieces of ourselves in a safe way, share certain perspectives and beliefs without judgment, and just have conversations, I wanted to show the world how to have a conversation with a stranger, or how to come out of a conversation unscathed with someone that you totally disagree with, but you're still able to maintain and sort of operate and cohabitate with that individual and still, coexist. So that's what the Who and How Club represents if you're a first-time listener. For all of those who are returning listeners and supporters, I continue to appreciate you in the best ways that I can, whether it's shouting you out on Instagram or on the show, tagging you in materials and, just mentioning your name. You know who you are. You're most likely on my email list. So you get these email blasts, and I profess my ongoing, just my love and support for all of you who have been on this journey with me from the inception and infancy of the Who and How Club to where it's at today. It is September 30th, 2021. It's a Thursday morning, and I'm ready to speak with all of you. Not to all of you, but with all of you. Now, speaking of, supporters and the folks who I sort of coexist with, I want to shout out some of the shows that I've made an appearance on recently. These individuals are fellow podcasters, so I think it's important to shout them out because I think that being a part of this community it's not something to take for granted. And I've connected with very unique individuals, not only from my city, but across the seas as well. And they've had me as a guest on their show, and we're scheduling some things to return the favor and to invite them on to the TWHC platform as well. So, I think that it's only right for me to mention those individuals. Now, some of these episodes haven't even dropped yet, but you can look out for them, and they will be on the TWHC platform as well. But I've made a few appearances. I've had some guests on my show, and I've also been making some appearances on some other shows. Some of those shows are Tea and Honey with Kayla. Shout out to Kayla. She's from the city that I'm from as well. I made another appearance on a Tea Talks podcast. It's called Tea Talks with Daspin. She's from across the seas. Similar titles with those ones, but very different concepts for both of those lovely ladies and their shows and their platforms. Very different platforms, but just having the opportunity to speak with both of these beautiful young women was an honor. And we spoke about some really, really deep stuff, especially the episode with Kayla, but especially the one with Aspen. So look up Tea and Honey, the Tea and Honey podcast, and Tea Talks podcast as well. You could also find them on my page. Like, you'll just search for them, and I've either posted about them or you could find them on my list. I actually want to have a sip of tea in honor of those young, beautiful women. Thank you again, Kayla and Aspen, for having me on your show. I think the episode with Tea Talks is already out, so I would have promoted that. And the Tea and Honey episode, it should be coming out, I think Kayla said, in October, like beginning of October. So I'm excited to share that with all of you. So let me take a sip of my tea in honor of those ladies. And toast to their shows as well. I wish you nothing but success, and I'll be returning the favor very soon and having both of you on the show soon. The tea that I'm drinking this morning, I have this box of tea, and it's sort of like an assorted flavored tea. So it's like whatever you choose, you don't really know what you're gonna get, but it's a bunch of fruit teas. So I don't know what this tastes like today. It's pretty fruity. I don't know what that tastes like, but it tastes good. It's sweet. So that's what I'm sipping on in a Who and How Club mug in TWHC fashion, of course. So I sip some tea in honor of those ladies. Another show that I made a guest appearance on is the My Health Motivator podcast with Christian. He's also from a different country, but I'm gonna say he's also from a different planet. I really enjoyed speaking with him, and there are some things that he said that sort of mirrored my beliefs and stuff like that. And I thought that it was a really great conversation that I had with him on his platform, and his whole setup, going live on YouTube and everything like that. I think that was really dope. It was a first experience for me. But there was like a genuine curiosity within our conversation, and I don't take that for granted. So shout out to Christian. My Health Motivator is the show. Look that up, and you could find the episode with me on it. Your boy Arys WTF. Another show that I made an appearance on, I don't think it's out yet. It was on the It's All About Evolving with Kathy Howell. Now that was a really great conversation. And she's from the city that I'm in. Actually, I think she's from Brampton, but I consider it all whatever. We're all very close within distance and stuff like that to each other. So it's not the same when like someone's like not even in this country and they speak a different language or have an accent and stuff like that. You feel that different vibe. But when it's someone, whether you're in Brampton, Mississauga, Scarborough, whatever, and I'm in North York, like we're a part of the same, we're in reach of each other. So that was a really great conversation. We spoke about relationships, and I don't want to give too much away, but I'm excited for this one specifically. Or particularly, is that what I meant to say? There was, we kind of challenged each other on some ways of thinking, especially when it comes to relationships. So, and it's a very quick episode, very digestible episode. So, I'm excited for all of you to hear that. So look up Kathy's podcast. It's All About Evolving. And I have so many beautiful things to say about these people. I don't want to drag it on, but I just want to say thank you to all of you for having me as a guest. I'll tag you in the post for today's new episode. And let's continue to work with each other. You know what I mean? Last episode of the Who and How Club, we released our guest spot, which was with the Conversations for Days podcast with Kalilo and Frankie. And there was another guest on the episode, Samuel. And just listening back, I'm smiling from ear to ear right now because, it was just cool. It was just cool. And those guys really appreciate having me on their platform as well. And I think Frankie had made a comment saying it's like one of the best episodes, or something. I don't know, something to that effect. Like this one it went down in history as the best episode or classic episode, I think is what he said. But I'm excited to have them on the platform as well. We had to reschedule our recording, so that should be coming up soon, and I'm excited for all of you to indulge in some more collaborative projects that I have going on with some unique individuals. So shout out to my fellow creators. I love you, I appreciate you, and I know that you all love me too and support me, so this is beautiful. With that said, welcome to forgiveness, or I'd like to call it WTF. As mentioned before, forgiveness is coming. Forgiveness is coming. I want to focus on forgiveness with this next series. If you've been listening to the Who and How Club, you know that I've introduced a few series in the past. I had my Black History Month Spotlight series earlier this year, during the month of February and March. I also had the Make Room for New series that I presented to all of you. It was a part 4 series. And of course, we got the guest spots that we post. But I think it's time to focus on something that's very controversial, but is defined, on an individual level. I feel we all look at this topic through our own lens, and we base it off of our own experiences, our own capacities. In fact, some of us aren't able to forgive. For some of us, it takes us forever to even forgive. Some of us don't even know what forgiveness is or what it's supposed to look like. You know what I mean? We could go through textbook definitions, of course, and gain some sort of understanding, like, oh, that's what it is. But are you still able to put that into practice after reading some history or some literature on the concept of forgiveness? Do you have to forgive? Do you need to forgive? Who comes first when it comes to forgiveness? Are there things that could sort of, pass you without you having to forgive it? Are there steps before forgiveness that you have to take? Are there steps outside of forgiveness that you can take where you don't even have to embrace forgiveness? These are the things that I want to speak with all of you about. These are the things that I want to challenge. These are the things that I want to question. I believe that in this life that we live, we were given a heart, a brain, we were given eyes, we see things, we feel things, Deep down in our guts, we feel things. How many times have you been in a situation and you're like, yo, I know this is the wrong thing to do. This is the wrong thing to be involved in, but I'm still going to do it. And you regret it later on, but initially that gut feeling was trying to tell you something, and you weren't wrong, but you just had to go into that thing, still test the waters, and maybe prove yourself wrong or right. Prove yourself wrong in that sense. And then you feel bad about it when you come out of it, and it's like, I got to forgive myself, because right now I'm beating myself up about making a decision that I knew I shouldn't have made, but I still made it and I went through with it. Who's to blame? These are the things that I want us to speak about, because it's our job to challenge things. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I here to promote forgiveness as the answer to your problems. No way, shape, or form, because who the hell am I to do that? I've had my own struggles with forgiveness and the concept around it. Saying the word forgiveness kind of makes me cringe a little bit, because I'm reflecting on some things that I just haven't forgiven. Or maybe I have forgiven and I've moved on from it, but in retrospect, it's like I could have forgiven that like so long ago. Why did I hold on to that thing for so long before forgiving? Or even forgiving myself, right? So these are things that I want to explore within the next 4 episodes, this marking the first one, right? Now, I'd like to preface with, if there's anything that you hear or anything that resonates with you, that hits or strikes a nerve, that ignites some sort of flame inside of you, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. Send me an email. Touch base with me on IG or on Twitter. And we could have a conversation. And if you need some guidance or some support or just a soundboard, someone to just bounce some ideas off of, especially revolving around this concept of forgiveness, hit me up. My Instagram is at only1arys, ONLY, the number 1, ARYS. Obviously, you know the Who and How Club on all social media platforms is at whohowclub or at whohowclub.com. The email is whohowclub@gmail.com. So you could always type me a little something and I'll respond. All right. Now, welcome to forgiveness, or WTF. What the forgiveness? Let's talk about definitions. All right. Like I said, we could go through the textbook definition and the history, but I prefer to go raw and work from an individual standpoint, what my point of view is on forgiveness and what your point of view is on forgiveness. I do believe that it's based on our experiences, our levels of hurt, our capacity. Some of us don't have the capacity to forgive. We're not there yet, you know. We're limited in our capacity of how to put this into work and to make it work for ourselves, right? Today's episode is going to focus on struggle, the struggle of forgiveness, my struggle in particular. Part 2, we're going to go into the willingness. I do believe that these are the 4 stages of forgiveness for me. These are the 4 stages that I've encountered, that I've gone through, that have made me, you know, there are processes of grief, you know. This is my process. This is my breakdown. These are the 4 steps that I feel my level of understanding of forgiveness is at, and what I've experienced. So it's gone from struggle, which will be part 1, which is today's episode. The second stage is the willingness to forgive. You got to be willing to forgive. And I've struggled with that as well. You know, all of these, you know, the foundation of these steps are struggles. The struggle is the foundation, because I've struggled with having the willingness to even forgive. You know what I mean? So we're going to start with the struggle. Step 3 for me is like, oh, I get it now. I understand what forgiveness is supposed to look like and what it means for me if I do forgive or if I don't forgive. That's my choice. That's my right. That's yours as well. The 4th step in this process is who's first? So who gets the forgiveness? Is it myself? Is it maybe the other person who I feel has done me wrong or done anything wrong to me, for that matter? Who's first in the forgiveness lineup? You know, when you're lining up to check out and cash out when it comes to groceries and all that jazz, or purchasing items, it's like, who's first? You know, who's butting in line? Where does this forgiveness get directed to? Is it all parties? Is it just one? Excuse me. That's the T. These are the steps that I've had to go through and sort of encounter and embrace and sort of experience in order to gain some sort of understanding on forgiveness. Now, these are my 4 steps. You might have other steps. And I don't judge those steps. I don't think that they're wrong or in any way possible. But we're all individuals, right? And we all have our own point of view when it comes to this concept and this idea. Now, I came across something pretty unique that I wanted to share with all of you, and it's sort of in the line of definitions, right, of forgiveness. Now, when I looked up where did the idea of forgiveness come from, I came across something that stated that from the ancient Greeks to the present day, forgiveness has typically been regarded as a personal response to having been injured or wronged. Damn. We go through this on a day-to-day basis. And this is from the ancient Greeks, this concept, this idea. Christianity talks about forgiveness a lot. I don't want to get into the religion aspect of it, but it is a very important teaching in Christianity. Forgiveness is everywhere in the Bible. And there are many accounts and examples of forgiveness. Every character, every individual that's being sort of presented to the reader, forgiveness is pretty much within that story. When I looked up some other, definitions and thoughts on what forgiveness is or isn't, I came across a couple funny things that could be controversial, but it says forgiveness is not condoning. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not excusing. Forgiveness doesn't have to be religious or otherworldly. Forgiveness is not minimizing your hurt. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is not denying or suppressing anger. That's a deep one. I can relate to that one. Forgiveness is not ignoring accountability or justice. Forgiveness is not pardoning. It cannot be granted or chosen by someone else. Emotional forgiveness is not the same as decisional forgiveness. Damn. Although heavily debated, emotional forgiveness is for you, not the offender. Now, that last one. I am certain that all of the club members tuning into today's episode can battle and argue and debate about that last one for days on days, conversations for days. Who is forgiveness for? Is it for you? Is it for oneself? Is it for the other person, the person external of you, person who doesn't even know that you're forgiving them? Who is it for? We're going to tackle that more on part 4 of the WTF series. But these are just things that we're going to explore and debate about. And as I speak, I hope that you're thinking about this and thinking about people that you either have forgiven or haven't forgiven. And that can include yourself as well. So we're focusing on struggle, the willingness, understanding it and getting it, and who's really first in the line of forgiveness when it's time. I've struggled with forgiveness because I have felt, in times, don't judge me, but in times I felt that people didn't deserve my forgiveness. I've held forgiveness so dear to my heart, as if like it's a precious jewel, and people are trying to steal it and take it from me, that I have refused to forgive because I have felt that there is no human being worth my forgiveness. Now, what kind of fucking egotistical mentality is that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? One might use that, though. One might think the exact same way. Do I think that way today? I don't know. Maybe it all depends on the situation that I'm in, the individual that I'm dealing with, or the version of myself that I'm dealing with. Yes, there was a time where I felt like I didn't deserve my own forgiveness. I was a mess. I was just on a rampage. Problem after problem after problem. Self-destructive, if you would. So who am I to forgive that version of myself? I'm not even there yet. I don't even understand what I'm involved in. My ego is that big. It's like, no, I'm right no matter what. Of course, people have done wrong by me. And I've been inflicted, hurt, pain, whatever. sadness, disappointment. There have been times where these people didn't even know that they disappointed me. But we feel it, right? We feel it. We personalize it. Someone has let us down. So who gets that forgiveness? How does one forgive? Is forgiveness even the route that we're supposed to take in those moments? People who have been the dearest to me, who have raised me, have not gotten my forgiveness. But we're talking about a moment in time. I'm bringing you back. We're revisiting versions of Arys. There was a time where I couldn't forgive my mother, where I couldn't forgive certain family members, where I didn't forgive my exes, the friends that were closest to me, because I felt like the pain that they inflicted on my heart was just too much to bear. And forgiveness would not solve those issues. Then there was a moment where I would beat myself up because I would return to those same places that inflicted pain onto my heart and my brain and my soul. Because I believed that if I tried again, things will change and be different. But like I said in the beginning of this episode, things will never be the same again. These are things that I've learned throughout my journey. And I pray that you're learning these things as well. These are life things, life experiences, life rules even. Things they don't teach you in school. These are things that you will experience throughout your day-to-day, your week-to-week, your month-to-month, your year-to-year. Relationship to relationship, friendship to friendship, familyship to familyship, and of course, selfship to selfship. Yeah, that's right, I said that. A few weeks back, I posted something on Instagram asking everybody what forgiveness meant to them and how they defined it. Here are a couple of those definitions. Someone said, moving on with my own life and being happy. That's forgiveness to that individual. Someone else said, forgiveness is loving, healing, and empathy. You need to forgive what hurt us, but pain also teaches us. This healing, the person who hurts others usually acts that way as a reflection of self-protection. Understanding this is empathy. Who knows how to love knows how to forgive. God. Now they ended that message that they shared, in my opinion. And I can always appreciate someone who states that part whenever sharing something. I do my best to preface with that as well. In my opinion, ... Now these hurt, these hit. I feel these definitions. I can relate to these. I'm certain you can too. If you're struggling with forgiveness, take a moment to yourself. Sit down. Just take a breath. Put the phone away. Don't just put it on the charger or put it in the other room. Flip it over. Just go sit down in the middle of your room. Sit down with yourself for just a second. Look at the wall. And just take a deep breath. Breathe out. Do it again. Take a deep breath. And breathe out. Sit with yourself for a second and think about forgiveness. Think about where you're at with forgiveness right now, and if you're also struggling with it and its concept, its purpose, if you may. Think about it. I'm going to leave you there, And we're going to check in a week. In a couple weeks, in fact. Because the next episode, we're going to have one of our guest episodes put out. But between now and then, I just want you to take some time to yourself. Don't worry about actually forgiving anybody or yourself. I just want you to sit with it for a second. Think about what forgiveness means to you. And just think about the things or the people that you either have forgiven or have not. And yourself is included in that, all right? We'll close with this. Last Friday, I participated in a celebration of life for folks who have passed away at my workplace. Some of our clients have passed away in very unique ways. There's been a lot of death around. Last episode, solo episode, was also acknowledging the passing of Michael K. Williams. You know him as Omar from The Wire. And other creative roles that he's been in, whether it's on Boardwalk Empire or one of the new movies that's out right now, The Body Brokers. I think that's what it's called. And I think it's one of the last movies he's done, if I'm not mistaken. Ironically, that movie focuses on, users, if I'm not mistaken, and drug abusers and stuff like that. So a lot of death. So I thought that it would be only right that you join me in a moment of silence and just think about anybody in your life that has passed away. It could be someone you were in a relationship with, a friend of a friend, a coworker, one of your clients, one of your idols, family member. I conducted the moment of silence at the celebration of life last week to celebrate. I know that it's sad that someone that we care about is no longer here. But believe you me, they're with you right now and they want you to live. They want you to live so much, you wouldn't even believe it. They're happy. They're not in a bad place, but you feel bad because you miss them. And I understand that. It is a loss. And I'll never take that away from you. But just frame your mind and understand that those individuals that have come and gone are with you. And the people that have come and gone, they've paved the way for us. And they're looking down at us in a positive way. And they just want us to live. They want us to value our lives. We're still here. And we're still here for a reason. So let's use this time and this energy wisely and protect one another and to support one another and to laugh and love one another because we still can. Until we move on to the spirit realm, we're here in the physical. And we got to use this time wisely and live because that's what those folks who passed on, that's what they would want for us. Believe me when I tell you that's what they want for us and they're with us. So join me in a moment of silence and we'll bow out. It's been your boy Arys and I'll check in with you in a couple weeks. 1.